Alright guys, so I just got my truck, took it through the cheapest car wash in town, so it didn't do the greatest job, but a lot cleaner than it was, and I don't have time right now to wash the whole thing, so still got like some smudges and crap, but it's a lot cleaner than it was. So that's currently my truck. Not super in love with the Raptor style grill. I think I might go the 3-bar Lariat grill, but I think it looks okay on aggressive trucks. I have the trimmer running boards from an F-150 trimmer. So they say Ford on them instead of Raptor. It's got a 6-inch lift. I've got Bilsteins in the rear, which I believe are 5100s, if I remember right. They're made for a 4 to 6-inch lift. Those are, my wife cut these out from her Cricket. They replaced the red one, so kind of going with a black and gray theme, obviously. The tail lights, these were on eBay for like $200. Not really in love with them, but they're a lot better than just the red with that white line, just the halogen tail lights. Kind of a sore thumb. At night, these look awesome because these light up red. There's the back. So one thing I'm going to do today is I'm going to replace these with black LED. They're black. They look black. They're smoked with LEDs coming through. So that I'll kind of get rid of the last piece of chromish looking thing on my truck. I have some aftermarket LED fog lights that are smoked. And then I've had some people asking me about my headlights, which I did not finish the video on, but these are them. They turned out pretty good. So again, these are the high beams, these are the low beams, the low beams on top. Now these do have the shroud on them. These are Acme projectors, so they're pretty cheap, but that is because these are LEDs. These are the more Moto, I want to say X8 LED fogs, I mean LED high beams, or H8, I don't know, something like that. It's been a while. But anyway, these do not have the shroud on them. So if you actually look closely in here, you can actually see like kind of the mounting points. It was silver back there, but I actually painted it black. So it's so far in there, you really can't tell. I mean, even if you're looking hard for it, it's hard to see because it's tucked in. Now, one thing I should have done with the high beams, I should have cut a notch in the housing and let it sit flat, because as it is, it kind of points up a little bit. So like that high beam right there will actually point up. Not big time, but it's pretty noticeable. Not still super bright. An airplane could probably see me for all I know. But they work pretty dang good. I'm pretty happy with how they turned out. Now, is it worth the trouble? I would honestly say no. I would say go with the Anzos and throw some LEDs in there, or maybe retrofit some Anzos with some HID projectors. But all in all, it turned out pretty good, and I hadn't seen one done, so to actually do it, I mean, I'm pretty proud of myself for. I bought these aftermarket housings that were black right here, so all I had to paint was just the bowls, and then obviously add in the projectors, and then wire them up. So for the wiring, what I actually did was I have a high beam splitter. So like obviously something connects to the original high beam plug, and then it splits. So the projector, if you're familiar with them at all, they just have a shutter, and when the shutter gets power, then it activates the high beams. Like that shutter drops, I believe, or it comes up, I can't remember, but either way, the high beams come on. So on the other end of that splitter are these. So when the high beams are activated, both of these lights are basically on and showing high beam. So this is more of a redundant high beam. So I didn't technically need that. I could have just done the same thing with just that top projector. So that's why that LED being aimed higher is really not a big deal to me. I also have Bambi mode activated. Now, if you don't know what that is, that's done with ForeScan, and it allows the highs, the lows, and the fogs to be on all at the same time. So that's another way that those stay on when I activate the high beams. So my lights are pretty dang bright. And again, that's why it's not a big deal that those high beams down there are aiming up a little bit. A couple of other things I've added to my truck. I replaced these with black ones. A lot of people plasti dip them, and I originally had plasti dip my OEM factory badges, but it started to peel like not that long. I probably didn't put thick enough coats on, but I mean, these were like 35 bucks on Amazon, and they look pretty dang good. So did that. Added these, which they don't have like the, I mean, these are aftermarket. These are like 50 bucks, I think, maybe 75 tops on eBay. Now they don't have the, I guess, glare, whatever you want to call it, the shine that the factory paint does, but it's still color match, and I need to just add some polish onto it and some elbow grease, and it'll probably shine right up. So I'll show you the interior. So again, guys, like I'm the average American. I work a lot. My truck is not perfectly clean all the time. I take care of it. Usually it's vacuumed out, but I mean, I'm recording this as life happens. So anyway, so I did a cat skin install. I installed these. A lot of people pay for it. The cat skins are about $600 for like the entire kit. And usually the install can run you anywhere from $500 to $1,000 more. So this is the limited style. One thing I did not have, I couldn't find at the time, were some hog rings. So the only broken clips I had were right here, which is only noticeable if you're looking for it. It's not super tight right there, as it is right here. And then one on the seat bottom of that, which you can't tell at all. I honestly can't even tell you where it is now. So these turned out awesome. I also did add a heated seat kit, and I put my switch right here on this side. On the other side, on the passenger seat, there's a metal bar right here. So I ended up putting the switch over here, and I can show you that in a second. So really happy. I mean, so the end of that last video got cut off, or the end of that last little section for whatever reason. My phone got too hot. So this is where I put the switch on the passenger side. I was gonna put it right there, but there's this bar going back there, and the wires that stick out of this switch, it wouldn't fit. I tried, but I don't want to bend all the terminals, all the prongs. So I cut the hole a little bit bigger, drilled it a little bit bigger, then used this plug hole that I found at Lowe's. It's a perfect match. I don't think the average passenger is going to really notice it. I do, but I don't really want to buy the whole new panel. So it is what it is. And the cat skin just, I mean, it's a worthwhile upgrade. If you're considering it and you're like, man, 600 bucks, but you feel you can do it yourself, it is worth it. I mean, these were cloth before, just completely transformed the interior, completely. And I already had that again. So my truck, my 2017, came with a 4-inch screen. I personally like aftermarket better than sync, but I believe that the 17, at least the XLT Sport package, from the 15 through the, I guess, 20, I think they all came with the bigger 8-inch screen except for the 2017. So I really wasn't mad because I replaced it with the aftermarket, with this Pioneer, like AVH, I don't even know what that is, wherever it is. Here we go. The AVH 600EX plays DVDs. I've actually got a switch down there, a bypass switch, kind of down by where my feet, where the gas pedal is. That'll bypass the parking brake and allow me to watch movies and all that while I'm driving. Obviously, I'm not staring at the screen. Usually it's a movie I've seen before, blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, it's turned out pretty dang good. So one thing I did go over is that I have a Lomax. I have that in another video. One thing that is a must, whether you add this one or the OEM one, I mean, you want to be able to do this. You want to be able to lower it slowly. So I've got the DZ tailgate assist. I honestly didn't know that the M1 was an option. Right when I bought the truck, that was one of the first things I bought. That and the rear seat release. So the OEM one goes in here and it hides right behind the tail light. So that may be a better fit for you. I don't know. This stays out of the way. You can see it. It just completely hugs that. It's not in the way at all. It's behind that pillar. Sliding wood in, you're not going to get it caught on anything. One thing I also added, I don't have the factory bed lights, so I added this kit for about $30. And there's 3 strips. There's one right here on this underside, one on the middle section, one on that section. So I decided to add it to the bed cover. because as you can see, like these rails, this rail system just takes up all that space, and I didn't want to mount it on there, and there really wasn't another good place to mount it. So this gives off a lot of light. You can see some wires hanging down over there too. I mean, I can tuck them up a little bit if I need to, but the reason for that is I can like basically release the wires right here, and I can still take the whole bed cover off. So the this slack allows the bed cover to fold still. So that's why there's a little bit of slack. So it doesn't look great with this slack, but again, I can fix that if I wanted to a little bit, which I probably should, but it doesn't bother me. Obviously, it's underneath the bed cover. So that is pretty much the tour of my truck. Got Mickey Thompson Baja, I think MTZ. Yep, MTZ P3s, red tires. It's a great tire, really not very loud. Haven't seen many people that have them. Discount had a really good rebate when I got them, so, and they price matched Amazon, so I saved quite a bit of money. I probably got like a free tire overall, which, if you know anything about tire prices, that's pretty dang good. So later on today, again, I'm going to be replacing these turn signals and get rid of all the chrome. All right, so I just got done changing these out, and they are sequential. So you see how they kind of, that's how they'll operate when the turn signal's on, obviously. So I think they look pretty good. One tip I'd give you, because there's a million videos on how to take this off to replace these mirror caps. Don't take it all the way off. Just because the hardest part putting it back is probably getting this piece in. So just pop off this corner, and you'll be able to slide this out and slide the new one on, and do it that way. So yeah, I think they look pretty good. Yeah, not a big fan of sequential stuff like that. They even had a switchback version, which would be wide also, and I guess that would be for the spotlights, which my truck does not have. That comes on higher trims. Again, mine's an XLT that, I mean, I've done quite a lot to, but it's still an XLT. I think that looks pretty cool. I would have been just as happy with just a straight flashing one instead of the sequential like that, but I think it looks all right. And one other thing that I forgot to show, I guess a few months ago, I guess about a year ago, I found a parts truck that was a Lariat, and I took the bigger cluster off of and replaced my smaller cluster, which, I mean, this cluster is pretty cool. It can do quite a bit. But it is just such, I mean, an upgrade. Like, it's pretty crazy. Not super recommended. Like, it doesn't do a ton more unless you add more stuff. Trying to think of something like adaptive cruise control. You have to have this cluster, and a couple other things like that. If you have navigation, you can get the navigation on this screen. Those are two things you can't do on the little 4-inch. Other than that, there's not a ton. I mean, obviously, I think it looks better, but no, it's really not a big deal. And I actually came out even on that parts truck. I got quite a bit of stuff, and I sold a lot of it because I didn't use it on my truck. I just knew that a lot of that stuff had value, and that seller just didn't really know what he had. So, I mean, I think I paid like $250 for everything, which, if you know anything about F-150s, like this cluster alone sometimes can run you like $600, maybe a little bit more programmed, maybe a little bit less. And then, so I mean, if you factor all the things I got, $250, and then I sold a bunch of stuff from it for a total of about $400. So I just paid to get this thing programmed, and then I sold my last one. So I actually came out of that parts truck with a pretty decent profit. So yeah, that is pretty much the ins and outs of my truck. Pretty happy with it, done a lot to it. Don't plan to sell it for a long time. So yeah, if you have any questions, just ask away in the comments.